Okay. Oh, I can't really see with that one, so bear with me. Okay. All right, all up, all up, all down, all around. Those of you who come on this video at some point, thank you for watching here at YouTube Live at Blooming Light. If you're a decent being in this universe, in other words, you're not a sociopath or a psychopath and someone that's just altogether off their rocker out here doing all sorts of crazy, baneful, malevolent shit to all kinds of motherfuckers and expect to be looked at as some kind of Puritan. I just want to say thank you for watching. And I'm not going to get into too many intros. Look at the description box, homepage, links, and all of that. I wanted to clarify a statement that I made yesterday in one of the lives when I kind of went into talking about certain individuals, types, codes, covens, toxic people, distorted religious people, spiritual people that's just operating from their pain, their shadow, their trauma, their unconsciousness, and lack of dealing with all those things. They never dealt with it. They just, dumped a shit ton, heaping load of religion or spirituality over those things, okay? Or even intellectualism, because again, I did say everything in between, okay? Now, I made an analogy and I said something like children and adults' bodies, right? I think I said something like a 4-year-old given power, given the keys and given a 4-year-old power to do something that they're not ready to do was a mistake. It's like it's a catastrophe in the making. I think I said something along those lines, right? So now I wanted to clarify that statement because as it pertains to the children and adults' bodies that are in positions of power and authority, distorted witches and warlocks, cult leaders, distorted religious leaders, people who have managed to attain all this stuff. So here's the clarification. Them being children and adults' bodies is not, and I said something like they're the problem with accessing power was a part of the problem when people aren't right in their head or they're not balanced and grounded people. Okay, that's what I said. And because it's like you're giving power to someone who has not alchemized and developed inside. So here's what I want to say. It's not referencing skill, because I made a comment about trying to handle something, operating in something they don't have the power to alchemize, or they haven't had the actual soul inside experience to match what they're trying to do. So I needed to differentiate because we're not talking about skill. Many people accumulate skill, okay? A skill set, a talent. You study something, you learn it, and you master it. A skill, but it does not automatically equate to inward maturation in terms of what they're trying to actually operate. Case in point, let's say you have a teenager and they do know how to drive. They went to take the driving course, the full course from start to finish. They have been practicing with their parents, with their auntie, with their whomever, cousin, driving on the weekends in parking lots. They then eventually go to take the written test and get the permit. Then they learn a little bit more. Then they eventually go to get the driver's license in order to legally be allowed to drive. So now they have gone through everything. They have been practicing. They have been mastering. They have studied. They have, taken the test. They have done all those things, and they know how to drive. They know all of the little things. Now, you get them in the car and they can drive to a degree. Okay? To a degree. Giving them a Lamborghini would be a mistake. Like a sports car, that would be a mistake, even though they know all of the technicalities of what it takes to drive. Giving them like, a huge bus or something, that might also be a mistake, okay? That's really kind of what it's likened to. It's not the lack of skill. It's not because they don't have experience doing spell work or they don't have experience with conjuring. They good and plenty. They got good and plenty, experience in whatever these things that they're trying to, operate. And they got a whole shit ton load of that. Whether that is they went to seminary school or, cemetery, whatever the fuck, whatever these technical things are to say what they say and do what they do. Okay? And it could have been that for 30 years. Does it mean that they are well inside? Does it mean that they ever dealt with any of their own pain, their own trauma? Just because they can maybe talk about it, but does it mean that they have ever actually dealt with it for themselves in a healthy manner? These individuals often look very sophisticated. And they've learned a survival skill much like an empath does, but theirs is on the other side. They have learned a survival skill that happened when they were young, and they have been practicing that in old age without ever really dealing with any of the real inner issues, which makes them dangerous, by the way, because they are actually in survival mode. We don't think they are, but they are. They are. They themselves are in survival mode. And for them, survival mode causes them to act very primitive, very animalistic, very callous, and lacking real moral human empathy and compassion. They know how to mimic it because that's their survival skill, how to mimic and mirror those things when necessary in order to get what they want to get. But they do not know how to truly have and exercise that for themselves or others. They're in survival mode, which is why they go down those darker paths in the first place, out of their desperation. Okay? Why they get into being willing to, rob, kill, steal, and destroy like their master. Because it's their master. They think they don't have one, but they do. They think there's nothing else, but it is. It is. That's why they become that way, okay? 4-year-olds, and that's why their emotional maturation is not there. They know how to mimic it though, because they have survived and studied what it takes to operate in society. So they mirror people. Anybody can do that for spurts of time, okay? 4 hours at a time, 6 hours at a time, 8 hours at a time. So now, this is what I want to say separate from that. I've been telling you all that these people have been assaulting me and my son daily. And they are. My relatives have migrated to Texas. Not all of them. They are. Every single day. And they're slick because they're cowards, so they hide. They don't want me to see them, but they hide. They're here, some of them. And they're working with people in Delta Manor. For those of you out there who want to know, here's your information. They're working with people in Delta Manor in Beaumont, Texas. The address is 5740 Northwest Parkway, Beaumont, Texas 77706. And it is on Northwest Parkway and Old Dowling Road near Parkdale Mall. They are working with several individuals there in order to have proximity to me and my son, in order to access his unit and use bioweaponry to cause issues for our health and our well-being. And the reason why bioweaponry is used is because it is also something that is not easily detected. Bioweaponry can come off as an allergic reaction to something, a sudden allergic reaction, seemingly harmless, like air, plants, a food allergen. It can appear that way. And this is one of the reasons why they use that as well. Okay? So they'll use people to, you can put that, go ahead and put it in the dryer.
All right.
Put things in food. Okay? Again, these are things that you're not going to suspect, right? Maybe sprinkle something on pizza, cheesy bread. Okay? Put something on a door, put something on a patio. Have maintenance or landlords to put something in vents or, places it's hidden, but it can come through essentially the airwaves, the vents, the water, the plumbing, things of that nature. Okay? They have been doing this every day, some form or fashion, along with their spell work. They're working with the people who live upstairs above my son, for sure, and beyond. So if you all are wondering, my son's unit is 6106. One of the ones they're connecting to is in 6206. Their friends, family members, associates. Yep. And that's because when you have a unit, that is above the target, one of the easiest ways is to infiltrate that unit, the one that's above, through vents. Because remember, they're above. So through vents, through, plumbing, but as well as the fact that the proximity is much closer. So then you have the noise. They're assigned to be the disruption. They're possibly the ones that are assigned to do weird shit, like lick on fucking doorknobs. And I saw earlier today, well, it was in the vision in my sleep, somebody walking down the hallway of where my son lives, like, because they have to walk up and down that hallway in order to get to their units. See, this is why they use that strategy, because again, it is not going to look suspicious for somebody to be walking up and down the hallway of where they have to go to get to their own unit. So no one is going to think nothing of that, huh? But I saw it. Somebody was throwing something, it was in a vision. I saw some stuff that they've been doing, spitting, throwing something, but as they're walking. So it's not like they come up to the door, because they're trying to make sure that they're bypassing the cameras. So basically, every time they walk up and down these stairs, and every time they walk up and down this hallway to cross or pass my son's a unit, they sprinkle in some shit, chanting some shit, throwing some shit, saying some shit, on top of trash and things like that they're constantly dropping from their unit upstairs, and the dog shit and the shitty diapers that they're constantly putting there, and management pretends like that's just a normal, average, standard everything thing, and you just want to have a normal, average, standard discussion with somebody about proper trash disposal, as if they grown ass don't fucking know that, because they too are involved. So they have been attacking and using bioweaponry and all of these other things and combined. But I did get the vision, them spitting, throwing something, but walking real fast past the hallway and just kind of like throwing it, or yeah. They severely attacked my son energetically with that, and they do shit to him in his sleep and his dreams, and they do shit to him when I'm on live. That they pay for. They're playing in my energy now. They were quiet while they're doing their spell work, and then they do the stomping, hoping that their cult leader may hear them so they can get some Scooby snacks. They don't pay for it. Them and their people. For sitting above this unit fucking doing spell work on me and my son, they gonna pay for it. Every time they walk past this goddamn door doing shit, they gonna pay for it. Every time they touch his door, Every time they throw something at his door. Every time they chant something at his door. And every time they fucking touch his energy whatsoever, they gonna pay for it. Every time they throw one more shit from their fucking balcony or from the side over there, them and they people gonna pay for it. Every time they walk their goddamn animals, intentionally and on purpose, strategically, to so-called fuck with me, they gonna pay for it. I had to do some clearing. They sent some wicked, nasty energy that I had to deal with, that I had to clear and work with my son and clear early this morning. And these are the people that are connected to my relatives. These psychopaths and sociopaths that don't know how to leave me alone. I don't have the other one on this phone. Damn it. It was all over his body. It's gone now. It's gone. I dealt with it. It was all over his body and he was itching like crazy. But like I said, see, these are the types of things, these are some of the slick, sly, insidious strategies that they use because, again, it's bio. Most people that are very surface, no disrespect, but they're very 3D. So it'll be oh, that's just an allergic reaction. Just a, no, that was not an allergic reaction. It was absolutely not an allergic reaction. It was a couple of things. And I can tell you because I saved something for evidence. I wrapped it up good and nice. It was spell work, no doubt. But it was also physical tampering with food. So I decided to put it aside and wrap it up so that it's tested. See, these people have infiltrated everything here. There's a whole lot of people that are Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, a whole lot of people that are like the Walmart shoppers and delivery people. That's kind of standard around here for a whole lot of people. Okay? And with DoorDash, depends on the driver's picking up people's food and taking it to people. And they can do God knows what with the shit. Especially stuff that's not sealed. I mean, come on, let's be real here. They can do God knows what with shit. That's why I screenshot and keep records of every delivery person that brings him stuff. That delivers groceries, fast food. I screenshot it and save it. These are the things that they have been utilizing for some of you out there who wonder. This is also why it's considered covert. It's also why it's something that is not going to be readily available. People are wanting toxic behavior to have a label, to have a badge, and to be something that is clearly defined and easily seen in order to believe that that's what it is. Whoever is in 6206 and their connections with the building 7 and their connections with the rest of the people they're connected to in building 6. That was all strategic. And him being on the first floor only helped because, you're on the second, third floor. Can't nobody rando come. You see what I'm saying? In terms of the balcony or patio. And him being on the skirts on the side of Northwest Parkway was also strategic as well. Because again, if his unit was on the other side, basically, anything that goes on would have to come from the inside of the actual complex. And so it would be harder, you see what I'm saying, to hide. And it'll also be harder to get to because you would have to come onto the premises, not just the balcony or the patio, not just the patio. You would have to come inside where all of the cameras are. And let me tell you something about me. My body at some point tells me or starts manifesting certain things when I'm too close, too long to sociopaths or psychopaths that are doing weird shit to me. And I've been able to trace this pattern for some years. It's a common thread. This is how I know that they connected to a sociopath, a psychopath, a narc, if they themselves aren't. Because anytime I get too close at proximity for too long of a period of time, and they're doing any kind of weird things or projecting any weird things towards me, my body manifests these weird on my back. It's always the back and it's always near the base. Manifest these weird like bumps or lesions. This only happens to me though. This is the pattern I've picked up. This is the only time because they end up healing and clearing up and going away. It only happens when there's there's narcissistic abuse happening. They're in my energy space. They're in proximity. So that bitch has been here. That bitch has been here, or one of her cult members have been here. So if there's anybody investigating out there and you happen to stumble across this and you are on the correct side of this investigation, in other words, you're not the corruption that's involved, and you see this, well, here's what you need to keep in mind. You already know who I am, obviously. So who you need to be looking for is the one that I called older sister, the one that I grew up with. And you possibly know that name as well. So you need to be looking for her and her associates. Her friendships, her connections, those that she talked to, that's where you need to go. If you're not already there, their correspondences, their devices, their accounts. And that's going to tell you exactly why certain things are going on here in Delta Manor regarding my son and me. That's going to explain the access and the proximity that they have managed to breach due to their psychosis. They are exploiting, they come off as religious leaders, they come off as sometimes spiritual, it just depends on what circle they're running in. They have their own coven where they're doing baneful work, but they also come off as religious. And so if they're trying to appeal to any religious circle, then that's the outfit that they wear for that circle. They're shapeshifters. They will put on the persona needed in order to get an audience, in order to get support and people on board with what they're doing. They take advantage of people that are traumatized and broken. They look for those. People with self-esteem issues, they look for those. People with anger problems even, they look for those because they can use that and manage to keep their hands clean. There needs to be a restraining order placed on her and her people, because they're off their rocker. And the people that are agreeing to infiltrate and breach my son's unit also need to be put on a restraining order and arrested. Because they lost it. These people have lost it. And I'm aware, so I'm fully aware, and I'm aware of how they take advantage of the ignorance of the world. So it can look like we're paranoid or tripping, like, oh no, that was just possibly, some kind of a, no, the fuck. No. These people need to be arrested and then evaluated. Every last one of them. Because see, this has gone far beyond, this is far beyond, well, we don't like them, to we think we're God. And we feel entitled to cause physical harm to somebody because of our entitlement and our psychosis. We don't care if they're innocent. We don't care if they had nothing. Doesn't matter. It's our vengeance. It's our mental illness. So I saved. This is what I do now. I wrapped it up. Because if it's tested, something's going to be found out. And if I call somebody independently to do something that I need done in terms of his unit, it'll be found out too. This is a sickness masquerading as a cause. They've been doing spells all morning. 6206. I know when people plan in my energy. They were the ones that whatever was thrown, spit, chanted, whatever that vision or astral, maybe I astral projected in a second or something because I saw it clear. There's something wrong with them people. And some of you out there, you may think I'm trying to be funny and crass and that I'm trying to be, and I'm honestly, I'm not like that. The only reason why that Queen of Swords energy has come out in me over the last few years is because people have been incessant and playing with me when I've been minding my own business. So I'm not the type of person that typically just like to be clowning folks or, you know what I'm saying, being insensitive to people's personal issues and niggles, because we all have them. But when I say something like that, it's got some weight behind it. It's not something that should be taken lightly, and it's not something that's just simply saying, oh, this person is a little just a jerk, or this person is just a little mean, or they're a little like some standard stuff that we all kind of come across in life. It's just personality differences and stuff like that. But this ain't that. It's not that. This is something is serious. Okay, why do people kill people? So let's just like play with that, okay? Outside of self-defense and all of the exceptions to all of the rules that warrant certain things, standard. Why? Is something wrong? Is it not? There's something in them, on them, okay? That's where I'm going with this. Because that investment, this concentrated investment coming for my son and me, is clear indication that there's something severely wrong with a whole lot of these motherfuckers. And you know, it's to me, I think it's sad and unfortunate that this this world, this society, this community, like, so all people want to do is just go to church and you know, put black Jesus on the wall and footprints, and you know, all, you know, Sunday's best and some big mama house dinner and bless God, and you know what I'm saying. But it's like, but y'all, this is you gonna bypass all this. You're just gonna pretend. You're just gonna pretend like that's not there. It's something wrong. These people have attachment issues, rejection issues that take them over the top. Far beyond just talking mad trash, and it takes them over the top. Anyhow, they're 4-year-olds, okay? These people that are working with the corruption in this state and working with my corrupt relatives here in Delta Manor are 4-year-olds. Wanting to come up. And they're gonna all pay for it.